The Packers are entering the restaurant at 9:58 and are going to have to pay a bigger tip as a result when it comes to Jordan Love.
It's a good tweet. I'm not going to disparage
but
Matt Coonan. No, but let's be honest about this. The Green Bay Packers, they have another full year that their restaurant's open with Jordan Love as their main server. Let's not poo-poo that. And a matter of fact, they really have control for 3 more seasons if they want. Like, those are the facts of this situation. So if Russ Ball doesn't want to go to $56 million and Jordan Love isn't going to take less, and by the way, Jordan Love should not take a penny less than what Trevor Lawrence has. Not a penny less than what Trevor Lawrence has got. So if that's the case, it might get a little bit. It might get up to that point, but as of right now, the chuck wagon's open, baby. Jordan Love's going to be driving that chuck wagon, or he's not going to. I mean, if the Packers want to play hardball, which they're not going to do, I don't believe that because I think they know and they understand how they should do business, and they're going to get it done. But they're going to have to pay more than what Trevor Lawrence is making. I firmly believe that. Now, that doesn't mean the structure will be the same, because Russ wins on structure. It's never about the average per year, which is what we all get caught up in. Mm-hmm. It really comes down to
all of us.
Well, I'm just saying, I think a lot of us do. So the Matt Coonan thing with the 9:58, it's true if you believe that the deadline is July 22nd, which a lot of us do. The Packers can look at it and say, we want to get something done, but we can't go to 60. We can't. And if you want to Tannenbaum it, go for it. We're going to be more than happy to do it. Green Bay wants it done. Jordan wants it done. Is it going to come in at 56? I don't know. But after yesterday, you certainly think that's the way this is headed.
So is this getting to be silly?
Which part?
Or is this just the cost of doing business in a league where this position decides your fate? Because
well, what do you mean silly? Why do you think it's silly?
Because I understand, and look, Brett Favre talked about this when he signed the first $100 million contract. I get it. It's the cost of doing business. But by the time we're done here, if Love and Tua and Dak all get contracts still, the best quarterback in football is going to be like the 10th highest paid quarterback. Patrick Mahomes is falling down the depth chart of contract pay at a alarming rate. And yes, I'm not naive. I understand that timing is everything. And that you're up when you're up, and the confluence of more money from the TV contracts and gambling and the cap going up and all that kind of good stuff is
Netflix,
coming together for these guys.
Peacock, all this other stuff. Yeah, and here's the thing. And when I was on with Eric Bilstead on Wisconsin's Morning News, we were talking about this morning, and my point is, it is a luxury to have a guy that you're going to pay, and that has earned it. We're not thinking he's going to be Daniel Jones like we thought maybe last year he might be.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say I'm not thinking he's going to be Trevor Lawrence. I think he's better than Trevor Lawrence. I think most football analysts are going to look at it and say he is better than Trevor Lawrence. Now, does he have to prove it more and more? Absolutely he does. But right now, is there anybody in Packerland that doesn't think that Jordan Love is going to be an elite quarterback in this league? And if he is, Jason, I've said this 1,000 times, and if he's getting Jared Goff money, which is kind of what we thought, now it's Trevor Lawrence, and he plays like he did, that's the variable that everybody has to keep kind of going back and forth on because it's only been one season, 10 really good games. If he's that good, this is going to look like a great contract in 3 years.
You're happy to pay it.
And if it's not, my guess is Russ Ball have it structured that you'll find a way out of it and you'll be able to move on and you won't get crushed. Look at last year. You paid a quarterback $40-some million to not even be on your team.
Mm-hmm.
And you still had a very viable opportunity to go to a Super Bowl. You did. So it's the price of doing business. There's nothing silly. There's nothing silly about this. This is the NFL business. And the NFL business is you don't have a quarterback you believe in, you ain't winning jack on a consistent basis. And everybody knows it. So, yes, it'd be great if you signed Jordan Love last year for $46 million but you know what would happen? Jordan Love plays 2 years, you're going to rip that up and give him a new deal anyways. That's how this works.
I get it.
And you just mentioned Patrick Mahomes. You don't think they're going to rip his deal? If Patrick Mahomes really wants to force the issue, he'll go in and say, listen, man, this is crazy. Trevor Lawrence just got $55 million. You don't give me 60, I ain't playing. The Chiefs will say, all right, Patrick, we'll get you 60. And if you don't believe it, watch, because in the next 2 years, he'll be the highest paid quarterback again. They redid his deal once already, and they'll redo it again. If he wins another Super Bowl, he might make $70 million. And you know what? The Chiefs will happily pay him that because this is what you get when you have that guy. And we're hoping Jordan Love is close to that guy. And if he is, $55 million is child's play for the quarterback position if he's that good.
So you do not think that we have reached a tipping point where you did say, and you're right, you're not paying for past performance. You're paying for what you're expecting from that player in the future. But you don't think we've reached a tipping point where we're paying guys. I mean, Daniel Jones was a mistake, right? They paid him.
But we all knew it was a mistake from the outside.
Right, and we don't know that with this one.
And by the way, the Giants knew it too, but they were forced. And that shows you the desperation. And by the way, if Daniel Jones is an average quarterback, he's only making $40 million. That's $15 a year less than Trevor Lawrence.
That's what I was just going to say. As bad as that contract seemed at the time,
it's not that bad anymore.
The way it's exploded, he's still not a very good quarterback. But at least you're not on the hook for $55 million. I mean, that's
exactly. And
is that not madness, though? Is that not a little bit of madness?
It's not, Jason. It's not because it's all relative. It's like, and you wanted me to sit here and pout because all these, players are making all this great money. No, that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that these guys keep making it, and hopefully they keep making it, and hopefully the NFL pension keeps going up, and everybody wins. That's the hope. So for Trevor Lawrence, does Jacksonville want to pay him this? Do they think he is ready for it? They hope. Because he's the number one overall pick and they think he'll get better, that's all great. But Daniel Jones, they can get out of Daniel Jones' contract, owe him nothing after next year. It's all about how it's structured, and that's what I keep coming back to with Russ Ball deserves our trust because Russ Ball crushes his job. I've said this before. Russ Ball is the best at his job that anybody up in Green Bay, and I am the biggest Goot stan you're going to find. Russ Ball, how many bad contracts – at D-Bach, it's unfortunate. It happened. Outside of D-Bach, how many other contracts have you looked at and said, this has been brutal for the Green Bay Packers? In the time he's been the GM or the player personnel finance dude.
The chief negotiator, yes.
Whatever.
I would say that
how many of you said, oh, my God, is that brutal?
The Devondre Campbell
he was an all-pro. He was an all-pro, and you got out of it, and you just got a bunch of cap. He was, Jason. You don't have to like him. Because he doesn't talk to you.
No,
he was an all-pro.
No, that's not. No, don't do that now. Come on. No, he was not an all-pro once he got the contract. You said you're paying for future performance, not past performance. He was an all-pro, and then he was injured and not very good. I don't care that he was a jerk to me. He wasn't very good. And he only played 2 years of a 5-year deal. And, yeah, they got cap space for this year. That cap space disappears for next year, and I understand the cap goes up every year. The bottom line is that was a bad deal. He didn't play up to the expectations. You did not get a return on your investment from him, and he was a malcontent. But other than that, it was great.
Okay, fine, but you look at it, and he made nothing for the first 2 years, and he played. So you got to look at it on a whole.
Year. Yeah, 1 year. He made $2 million when he was an all-pro.
On a whole, Devondre Campbell, that's not some crippling, oh, my gosh, what a horrible contract, because he still played.
You asked about bad contracts. His was bad.
It was a mistake. Bad. It was not great.
It wasn't crippling. I think we can agree it was not a crippling contract.
I just look at it. It's not like you broke the bank to pay him. I think you gave him 15 guaranteed or something like that. It's not something that was, oh my gosh, this is horrible. But yes, I think that's another lesson learned in the we're not going to pay older players. I am going to be fascinated. The Kenny Clark scenario, I sensed when I heard Goody on Cheesehead TV, I sensed Goody's not going to pay Kenny Clark. That was what I read into it.
Wow. I didn't see that part of the interview. Now I have to go back and look. I want to talk more about this because, again, you said it, and very well. Everyone cares about the APY. The two things that matter, and the one thing that matters within the other thing, is the guarantees. How is it structured? Because it's great that it, and again, I don't understand. There's been some discrepancy on how much is guaranteed of this deal. $142 million guaranteed at signing. There's these kind of wordplay games going on. Fully guaranteed, $142 million. $200 million not fully guaranteed. And those are the kind of games that you
look at Russell Wilson's contract. It was all that guaranteed, and you just assumed that it was all guaranteed because, well, they're not going to cut him and have $48 million in dead cap. And turns out, yeah, they will.
Right.
So, you can look at it and just assume if you're a good player, it's all going to be guaranteed. But the 142 at signing, that's guaranteed because that cash is going into Associated Bank. It's going to be boom.
And that would appear to be less than what Jared Goff got guaranteed based on the reporting about his contract. So, again, there's some interesting shenanigans going on, and what do those mean for Jordan Love? And I want to go back to the reality that even Goody, who staked his career on this quarterback selection, did something to protect himself that in some ways, because of the way Jordan Love played last year, and I'm not blaming Goody, I'm not ripping him for this. Let me be very clear. But he hedged, and you know I love a good hedge, and now it's kind of come back to bite them.